I was feeling sour and irritable. The seat was cramped, the cabin crew snooty, and the coffee bitter. But that was not why I was out of sorts. The plane was politely silent over the insistent vibration of the engines, with the muted buzz of conversation, and, incongruously, the soft and intermittent crying of a child in the back row. Not the wailing of a temper-filled protest. No. Just the pathetic, heart-breaking sound of uncomforted sorrow. A hostess must have been assigned to the unaccompanied minors. We were about 15 minutes out from our destination, and she was losing her patience. Her shrill voice, taut with exasperation, intruded rudely upon the restrained equanimity of the cabin. "Well, what do you want me to do about it? Tell the captain? Come on, shall we walk all the way down this plane past all these people to the cockpit, and then you can tell the pilot to take you back?" She bullied the child into silence. I wanted to wring the stupid woman's neck, so obviously lacking any shred of maternal instinct or human compassion. Kindness seems to be dying out. I leaned back into my seat, though, stretching my legs under the chair in front of me. Not my problem. The plane droned on. The child cried again. The shrew resumed her mantra. "When you land, tell your mother to send you back on the next plane." What was wrong with her? I wanted to bash her head against the cabin door. What was wrong with me? The child wept with such restrained, gentle helplessness. The hostess was harsh and vitriolic. Is this the new millennium's version of the Mile High Club? I could no longer restrain my curiosity. I needed to see who these players were. I stood up. She was young and slender with long, dark hair. Quite pretty, really. My feeling of irritation grew to repugnance. The new feminine, I wondered. The child was a complete surprise. One of the most beautiful boys I've ever seen outside a movie screen. About 12 or so, with thick eyelashes glistening with tears that leaked unbidden from his broken heart. Smooth olive skin, not yet hardened by testosterone, framed by delicate golden brown curls. Tendrils of his hair, slightly damp from the tears and the ignominy of humiliation, adorned his honeyed complexion. He met my eyes squarely, unashamed of the love that rendered him incompetent. His dad was living in Wellington now, and he was flying home after seeing him for 3 days. He loved his dad so much. He missed him all the time. He really was trying to be really brave. His breath caught in his throat. The floods resumed, and his little brother filled in the details cheerfully and right on cue. This was not his first rodeo. Chattering confidently while playing intensely on his iPad, he revealed that they would have to wait until Christmas to see their dad again. I looked back at the crying boy. He looked at me, unblinking, a picture of helplessness, pleading silently for relief. I spoke words to him, words of lights at the end of tunnels, words of purpose and belief and fortitude. He nodded dutifully. The tears slowed. His little brother cheerfully knocked his soda over onto the floor. I called the hostess and carried on to the bathroom. Presently we landed, right on time. They told us to stay seated. I clicked open my belt and walked back towards the boy. The cabin crew gesticulated wildly, insisting I sit back down for the safety of the aircraft. I had a few minutes. I sat obediently in the empty row in front of the sad little fellow. The cheerful brother noticed me gleefully and exclaimed. I confided that I was being naughty and he should not tell on me. He grinned. His sobbing brother looked at me with large, tragic eyes and waited. He'd obviously been lectured often. I saw him square his shoulders and prepare himself to endure more adult censure for his cowardice and lack of self-control. A few weeks before Carly hung herself, she had told me, "The one thing we know about feelings, Mom, is that they pass. All we have to do is to be brave enough to wait until they go." The day had come when she had stopped waiting. Would this little one reach that day? Or would he endure? I told him what William James had explained to us a century ago. You cannot control your feelings. They come all by themselves. I saw his shoulders relax a little. Relief? I smiled inside. I explained to him how someone special had told me a great secret, a great and wonderful secret that I wished that I had known when I was a little girl. Just as feelings come by themselves, they also go by themselves. His eyelashes flickered. Suddenly there was an urgent tension at the corner of his mouth. He glanced at me through his tears, then dropped his gaze back to the metallic floor, thinking, waiting. He was with me. The secret is that you only have to be brave until they go, all by themselves. I saw the realization flash through his eyes. They widened slightly in surprise and release. The power to endure comes from understanding that there is an end, and that the end is also the beginning. His brother did not notice. We looked towards him together as he ushered in the silent miracle with his innocent chatter. The youngster looked back towards me. The knowledge had settled seamlessly into his heart. It was time for me to go. I leaned forward towards the gap between the seats. Very softly I told him, "One day, you are going to need to tell your son that." For a millisecond, our souls locked in silent comprehension. Almost imperceptibly, he inclined his head. I hoisted my backpack onto my shoulder. The laptop was hard and heavy, and the strap dug into my skin as I shuffled down the aisle amidst the crush of impassive travellers. Off the ship and into the terminal. I had so much to do.